Assalamu alaikum, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Mystical Block. I have been busy in between episodes. In the last episode, we set all the system up just to make ourselves fissile fuel. Currently, we are making the fissile fuel at the rate of 4 millibuckets a second. After tinkering around with the setup, I have finally stabilized it the fissile fuel production at around 4 millibuckets a second. We have to get ourselves a better source of energy production ASAP because this, even though these solar panels are absolutely amazing, they are not enough to keep up with the demand. I am getting bottleneck when it comes to energy. I am done with going in between tablet and my storage to access stuff. First thing I want to do is to integrate EMC into my storage network. And how you do that? You do that with the help of an EMC interface. This requires the final EMC link and which requires a whole bunch of crafting.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
At last, there we have it, folks. We have gotten our hands on the components necessary to get ourselves the EMC interface. Let's go. We even got an audience to witness this milestone. Now I need is an external storage, and it is time to place, I guess, right here. For some reason, you have to have a 1 block gap. Now I got to go ahead and give it a high priority. Yes, I have all of the EMC-able items inside of my inventory now. With that out of the way, it is time to start configuring ourselves energy production. And in order to produce energy from this fissile fuel, we are going to require a fissile fuel power plant and other components. My plan is to build the fission reactor that anyone can best possibly build the maximum size possible. And according to Mechanism Wiki, it is a 17 by 17. What I am doing is that I am visualizing size by laying down a basic grid of the terminal. So this is going to be the size for the turbine. The height of the turbine is going to be 18 blocks. So this is the theoretical possible size for a turbine. Next is the time to lay out the basic plans for the fission reactor. The tutorial I am using as a guideline tells me to build the outside structure of the turbine first. So I will be doing that. So this is going to be the base outline sketch of the turbine. The next step is to get ourselves some valves. Valves are going to be used for two things. One valve is going to be used to input steam inside of this turbine. The other valve is going to be used as the energy output. This is going to be used for the energy output. I will be taking energy out of here. And the steam valve, I think, is going to go right here. The next step is to build the turbine rotor and the turbine blades right in the middle. The next step is to top off the rotor with the rotational complex and surround this with pressure dispensers. The next step is to place the electromagnetic coil right on top of the rotational complex. And the next piece of the puzzle is the saturating condensers. According to Wiki and the information I am able to find, these allow the steam to be turned back into water, which we can feed into the fission reactor. Next job on the list is to get our hands on some vents. I have gone ahead and gotten the vent situation set up, and the conclusion of this turbine construction fiasco seems to be ending up in enclosing the turbine in turbine casing. And theoretically, the turbine should be constructed now. Is there some missing glass or something? Because this does not seem to be complete. Yeah. Well, this is finally done. I was unable to figure out why is it not building, and every single time there was some kind of error. This is the final size I could build. I was unable to figure out anything bigger than 15 by 15. The next sort of thing is going to be the reactor, the coolant, and such jazz.
Eventually.
Theoretically, this is going to be the size for the fission reactor.
Just then.
Alright, just for the parity sake, I have changed the size of my nuclear reactor to a 15 by 15 as well. And now I am in the process of setting up the input and the output for the reactor. And now comes the tedious part, placing the fuel rod assemblies. I need to place them in a checkerboard pattern.
11 minutes later.
And there we have it, folks. The fission reactor is ready to be operational, but there are still a lot of things missing. If we start working it now, it will just instantly explode. And now I have to go ahead and give it configure the all the proper inputs and outputs. Step 1 is to fill up the coolant tank. And how do we do that? We do that. All we need is water bucket and electric pump. And now it is time to go ahead and figure out where to place the pump and how to give it water properly. There we go with the water source block. And now let's place our mechanical pump and connect it to the input port. And there we have it. It is now slowly but surely filling up. I forgot to give it power. And now it is filling up 1000 millibuckets a second, which is not at all enough. First, let's give it some upgrades, specifically energy upgrade and speed upgrades. And now it is filling it up much faster. We can make this process even faster because we have the power of controlling time. Yes, it does. And now it is filling out. And by filling out, I mean filling in the nuclear reactor with coolant. And now we kind of have to wait for the reactor to fill up. You know what? Instead of giving this a point, let's give this a solar panel. A single solar panel is producing 2000 FE per tick. And it is still going to take a long time in order to fill up this coolant, this tank. While it is filling up with water, we can go ahead and start working on configuring the other inputs. And it is time to connect this ultimate chemical tank with this input. Even though this is I have connected this, I am absolutely not going to turn it off. The fissile fuel has been redirected towards the reactor, and the steam output has been connected to the turbine as well. The final thing left is to figure out what to do with the waste material. And I think I am going to turn this into polonium and plutonium.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Things are going to go something like this. And these configurations are going to be later, but we are also going to require ourselves an induction matrix to store all the energy we are producing. So there will be links in the description to every single tutorial I am using. Well, I guess temporarily I can't really use the induction matrix because I am limited by lithium, and creating lithium is a whole other process of creating brine and such. Let's start our fission reactor. The tick rate is going to be 3 MB because I am producing 4 megabit. At this current stage, there is so less steam that these turbines are barely moving, and we are producing like 222,000 FE or energy per tick. I will never be limited by the FE input. Also, the solar waste is being produced and being transferred into each of these. This needs to transfer the polonium inside of this thing, and there we have it with the polonium input. And what do you feed that again? We feed it fluorite dust. And now this should produce plutonium pellets, which I am going to be storing inside of a drawer, I guess. And now slowly but surely we are producing ourselves polonium pellets. The only thing left is going to be plutonium, which is going to involve in getting a little bit more of this fissile fuel so that we can produce a little bit more Fe, and I think I can do that with the help of the watch of flowing time. Finally, we are producing a lot more fissile fuel per tick. Let's increase our burn rate all the way to 10 millibucket per tick. And we are producing up to 700,000 Fe. That is one jumble of a solution to this problem. And now all I need to do is get some nuclear waste buckets, which I have already crafted. These buckets are all going to contain the nuclear waste. And the nuclear waste is eventually going to be dissipated. Slowly but surely will be dissipated. Now it is time to finally activate this again. Can we keep up with 10 mini buckets? Easily. This is basically going to be it for the video because we have done a lot in this episode. We have done an extreme amount in this episode. We have got ourselves nuclear energy. We also have gotten ourselves plutonium and polonium pellets set up. This is going to be it for the video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.